Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to go over how to bring back detail in your dark black and whites. I've been working on one from the Tetons again, but this one's of Mount Moran at Oxbow Bend. I was digging through my old files and then found this panorama that I had created. So I just started working on this. And I want to go through and show you basically how I ruined the detail and how terrible it looks, and then how I'm going to bring it back so it looks like it should. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back into my computer here. And in the last couple of videos, I mentioned how terrible my masking on some of those older images was. In fact, the one from the Grand Teton itself is just horrible around the edges. So let me zoom in here. And look at that. Look how much better that edge is. While it's still there a little bit, and it basically just completely disappears in the brighter part of the sky. So my masking got much better with the proper feathering, with proper techniques. In this video, I want to go through and show you, see how all this terrible detail? So if I jump into the original image, I'm going to turn off that. This was the original image. You can see there's quite a bit of detail here. If I go into the neutral, still a lot of detail in there. And then as I went through my steps, darkening the foreground and all that, I just ruined it, right? Just completely ruined the detail. And very similar to how I fix the edges, we're gonna do the same thing. So on this one here, I just copied this, just the neutral layer, just Command A, Command C, and then Command V, brought it over here, and I brought a couple layers of it. And what I want to do is we zoom in here because we need to pick a spot. What I want to do is bring a layer up above the one I'm going to work on. Let's find someplace dark but not super dark. Like obviously don't want to pick a color in here or a tone in here. You can see up here with the little RGB. So let's pick something in the middle, but not the brights, not the dark, something like part of the reflection here. And right there we have a 32. So let's go with 32. And then let's stand on the neutral layer, pick the same location. Basically, where are we at? Basically 57, 56, 60, 61. Let's just do a 60. So I'll hit Controller Command M, brings up a curves layer. Let's go to our 60 and bring that back down to, did I say 30? Roughly 30. So let's go something like that. Then grab this corner. We'll bring it down and create a straight line with it. Click OK. Now I want to put a black mask on this layer. Now all we have to do is just come in, go to our brush tool, make sure we're on the mask, make sure we're on white, and then just start brushing in, and it brings back all that detail. So this technique doesn't just need to be on your edges, on your weird little, halos or anything like that. You can brush it in. Obviously we're getting rid of some of the highlights in this, but you can just use a luminosity mask again and bring back some of the highlights. We'll just kind of keep zooming in here, make sure we're bringing back details in the trees. And just see like no detail there, bring that back, but be careful so you don't do something like that, because you want that separation in the trees and the mountains. So let's bring this back, let's zoom out a little bit, something like that, bring back these trees. And obviously you're just gonna have to find a point to just stop. Like you can't just keep doing it all the way through your image, because then you just ruined everything that you've edited. So for me, I'm just going back in this midground here and just bringing back, let's make a smaller brush, bringing back some of the detail in the bushes and in the grasses. Just something like this, just kind of pick where you want to clean up your detail, make sure it's all good. Come over here. Like, so there's not much in this area, maybe in this here, this all looks pretty good. And because of where it is too, we don't want to ruin the highlights of it. You can see it kind of needs that, but back here it just kind of, it doesn't really add much to the photo. So it's okay to lose some of the highlights. And you can also use this, see how the reflections got really dark? So you can do that in here as well. Just brush it in. Just clean up some of those harsh edges from darkening the foreground so much. But then I don't want to get up into here and just ruin that. Just want to keep it down in the really dark areas. So just come around, you know, taking your time. Obviously not going slower than I am, but this is just for the videos, so it doesn't really matter. And you just kind of clean up these super dark edges. And then you can go like, let's say 50% brush, make it a little bigger. And you can kind of feather this part in, you know, so it's not so harsh, you know, with the mid-tone grays like this. So just experiment with everything and see what you can come up with. But like I said, this technique is not only just for cleaning up your edges of your trees or your skies or anything like that. You can use it for your midground, you can use it for your foreground, use it for anything like that. So that looks much better. You can see all the details brought back in, going from this, which basically just looks like mud, to this. Brings back some detail. And like I said, you know, you do lose some of the highlights, but if you wanted to fix that, you could, let's make a copy of it. Command Option Shift E. And then we'll go over to our neutral one and let's pick a light, something in the foreground here, or the midground I should say. Lights 2, that's too dark. Do we have anything else here? Doesn't look like it. We do have the greens though. Light green. Oh, so we could use our light green here, maybe. And the way I did the light green is I just use the Instamask from Riot Pro and just click the color. So I just click color and it'll make just a color luminosity mask. And I just clicked something like that. Then it'll make a mask of just the colors that I clicked, something like that. The problem with the color masks is that they're not very detailed. You can see there's not a lot of detail in it. So I don't use them that often, but for just a video like this, I can show you, you know, what you can do with it. So if we're to do this, then we can click, come back to here, selection, we want Oxbow panel 1, go to ground optimized. That's just our foreground. And then we'll go to panel, same thing, but let's do the light green. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's cancel all of this. Deselect that. Let's go back to our neutral one. Then we'll just click luminosity mask, go to lights. Let's see what we can come up with. Lights 1, lights 2 is too dark. Lights 1, I think that's a little too bright. So let's get rid of those. Let's go half lights. See what we can do here. Lights 1.5, that looks a little better. So we'll go to lights 1.5, let's copy that down, delete these. Now we can go back to the one we're working on. We'll do selection, Oxbow panel, ground optimized, Oxbow panel, lights 1.5, intersect. Click OK. And then with this, because all we want to do really is focus down in this area here. And so we can easily get rid of everything else. So we'll go to Pro Adjustments. Let's zoom in so we can kind of see what we're doing here. Lighten, just a couple clicks. Let's do one more here. Something like that. Okay, that looks good. Let's deselect this. Then we can just put a mask on it, and then just to make it easy, we can just go through with our brush, make it a fairly large brush. Sure, we're on black, so hit the X key, black 100%. Then we'll just brush out all of this. Like I said, because all we were focusing on was just this band of trees there. Let's make it smaller. Just come in here, get rid of all of this. Something like that. Make sure that we get rid of all of this here. X key, let's make it smaller just to make sure that we're keeping the detail on through here, and on the beach. See, it's just in that little area. And then obviously, you know, if you zoom in, because you have that band of like the haze or fog behind the trees, you're not really going to see it if you brighten it up a little bit. But if you are concerned, you can just go a smaller brush. Just, whoops, let's go to the correct color here, make sure we're good and soft. Then just kind of come in here and just do a little something like that. Like I said, nobody's even going to notice if, you know, if it's not perfect. But if you do want it perfect, you know, just take your time, work your way through it, something like that. And then you can always hit the X key, go back to white, and just make your trees the tops of them a little brighter. And then when we zoom in, we're still detailed, just a touch brighter. And it's not going to be that long of a video. So that, just to show you, you can use that the neutral layer to clean up the muddiness in your image. You can use it to bring back detail, and it's not just for the edges of your image. So let's go ahead and leave it at this. And I think this is basically how I finished the image. Obviously I did go in and I cleaned up all my edges. You can see I've cleaned up all the edges. So I definitely didn't leave those. And I think, like I said, I think this was the final image. I will be putting this on my website. So I've just been lazy. I've got art fairs. In fact, I'm about to head off to the Redmond Art Fair in a few minutes here. Go do that for the weekend. But anyway, thanks for watching. And if you enjoy this content, please leave me a comment or a like and hit the thumbs up and the bell or something. And don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.